everyone. Today we are going to discuss a part of the development economics. So, here the topic is poverty, which we are going to explain in terms of absolute and relative measurement, and with that, the measurement of the development, how you can measure the development with the help of the per capita income, and how you can measure the development gap with the help of the per capita income, and obviously what is the definition of the development gap. This is a paper, this is a module under the semester 3 for BA economics. So first of all, what is poverty? Generally, we are thinking that poverty means lack of money, but generally it is not. There are so many ways you can measure the poverty. Poverty, it may be the educational poverty, it may be the health poverty, it may be the wealth poverty. If there is lack of education, then education poverty. If there is lack of health, then health poverty. If there is lack of wealth, or specifically lack of income, then it is the wealth poverty. Generally, we are dealing with the income poverty. If the certain amount of money is not there for a person, then the person is called as a poor. But these other options are also there to measure the poverty. Now, what is the definition of poverty? Generally, if you consider poverty in terms of the lack of income, so you can say poverty means when people don't have the income, required income to maintain their minimum standard of living. Now, what do you mean by minimum standard of living? That means you have to have food, you must have some clothing, you must have some shelter. If the income of a person is not helping him to get these type of facilities, which is called the minimum standard of living, then the person is called the poor. So it is the lack of minimum money. Otherwise, the person cannot survive in the world. Now, the picture is showing you clearly that what is poverty. Poverty is there. So it is poverty is for the men, women, and for the children as well. So what are the different types of poverty? Basically, we are measuring poverty in terms of there are two ways to measure the poverty. The first of all is the absolute poverty, and the second one is the relative poverty. Now, absolute poverty means when the person doesn't have the minimum per capita consumption expenditure. If the person doesn't have the money for the minimum per capita consumption expenditure, then that person is called absolutely poor. So per capita means you can understand per head. So there is a minimum income which is needed to survive. So if the person doesn't have that money, so he is called absolutely poor. Basically, the percentage of this absolute poverty is very much prominent in case of any less developed economy and in some developing economy. Now, what is relative poverty? Relative poverty means if the income is lesser than the it is actually 50% lesser than the median value of the total population of the society, then the person is called relatively poor. Now, if it is the definition, then we can understand that you can see relative poor in the developed country as well. The next picture will explain you the situation more prominently. Now look at the picture. In the next picture, you can see, look, the first picture is showing the person who is poor, relatively poor, you can say, in the less developed country. But the second picture, he is not at all poor by, if you look at his health status, he is not at all poor in absolute term. But relatively he is poor. Why? Because he belongs to some developed part of the world. So his income it is quite possible that his income is 50% less than the median income of the total economy. So that is why he is considered as a relatively poor person. So we can understand that relative poverty is quite normal in developed country as well. Now, you can measure poverty in terms of the capability failure as well. This concept is given by Professor A.K. Shen. So he is saying that poverty cannot be measured in terms of absolute or relative way, but poverty is actually the failure, the capability failure. Now, each person should have the capacity or capability, I should say, it's a capability to have food, to have education, to have medicine for the healthy life. Now, if a person doesn't have the capability to have food, education, or medicine, then it is his capability failure, and the person should consider as a poor individual. So, this is called capability approach. Now, the human poverty. Now, human poverty, it is actually the opportunity for living, the person should have the opportunity for living a tolerable life. If the person is deprived from the health, then he is health, there is health poverty. If the knowledge, there is a lack of knowledge, people are deprived from getting the knowledge, then it is the education poverty. If the people are not getting decent standard of living, then it is the wealth poverty or income poverty. Now, the next question is the development. So, if there is development, we can understand there will be no poverty as such. So, why we are not considering per capita income as the measure of the development? Actually, initially, per capita income was considered as an indicator of the development, but nowadays it is not. Then where is the problem? The very first problem is the traditional method. If you consider one economy who is following the traditional method of living, like agricultural economy, so in that economy, it is quite difficult to find out the actual income. So per capita income means total income of the economy divided by total population of the economy. So you can get the value of the total population, but it is very difficult to find out the actual value of the national income, as it is agricultural economy, primitive type of economy. The second problem is the calculation of national income. Calculation of national income is also can create the problem, because there are so many ways of calculation. Some people are saying no, per capita income is not the true, is not giving the true picture of the economy. Per capita expenditure is better indicator for the development of the economy. Now, the statistical problem, obviously some statistical methods are creating the problem for the calculation of the per capita income. There are so many errors that may occur, and the statistical method which is followed in different economies, they are different. So we cannot compare in that sense. Now, the problem of the luxury good, for example, if you consider an economy who is basically producing the luxury good, so in terms of per capita income, his income is quite high, but all other developmental indicators like health, education, sanitation, so these things are quite poor. So in that case, you cannot say as per capita income is very high in that country, he is very much developed. Now the development level is confusing. Like if you consider any um, while while producing country, their per capita income is also very high, but if you consider development as a whole, they are not at all development, they are not at all developed. So that is a problem. Now infrastructural problem is also there, because sometimes we are considering development as underdevelopment as a lack of natural resources. If the economy doesn't have the proper natural resource, if the economy cannot utilize its given resources, then the economy should consider as an underdeveloped. But it may possible that the country's per capita income is low, but the country is having a lot of natural resource. So in that case, per capita income is not at all an indicator of the development of that economy. So these are the problem of the of considering per capita income as an indicator of the development. Basically, per capita income is an indicator of the growth. Growth is a part of the development. Now the next thing is the development gap. The development gap means the gap between the developed and the underdeveloped part of the world. We have to check that whether over the time the gap between the developed and underdeveloped part of the world is increasing or decreasing. If it is increasing, then we can say the inequality is rising in the world, and if it is decreasing, then the equality is coming. Now, how we can measure development gap? There are so many instruments through which we can measure. Among them, the most important are the education, health, income, and the wealth. Now, income inequality, basically the most popular measurement of the development gap is the income inequality. And the income inequality can be measured in terms of the per capita income. Now, when we are trying to measure the development progress, to understand the development progress, the economists are dividing the total progress path in three phases. The first phase is called the preparatory stage, where the economy is just starting to be developed. The second one is the take-off stage, when the balance of payment is negative, so that the expenditure is higher than the revenue. So many developmental works are done, government intervention is very strong at that time. It's a take-off stage. And finally, the stage of self-sustained growth is there, so that there is no need of help, outside help of the economy. So these are the basically three stages to measure the development progress. Now, how you can measure the development gap? The development gap can be measured in terms of absolute income gap, can be measured in terms of relative income gap, can be measured in terms of standard deviation, coefficient of variation, or the Gini coefficient. So these are actually the standard deviation, coefficient of variation, and Gini coefficients. They are basically the indicator, and they're the statistical method. Now, all those values are unit free, so they are just making a sort of ratio. The details is not here, but I can say that it is a sort of ratio, so that one can understand that given a particular base time in the current scenario, whether there is any fall or increase in the gap between the developed and the underdeveloped countries across the world. So uh, for today this much. In the next module we will discuss further. Thank you.